Hello, it's Peach with my weekly Positivity with Peach. In the next upcoming weeks, I would like to highlight important people in my life, because celebrating people who support you makes them feel great. This week, I am with my number one supporter, the reason for my life, my mom. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Peach.
I want to ask you some questions about living life with me. My first question is, when were you aware that there was something not quite right with me?
During my pregnancy, I was really abnormally large. So because I had twins the first time, they thought that you were going to be a twin, but they decided that that's not what it was. So when you were born, the delivery was difficult. So that when you finally arrived, your arms, your legs, and your eyes were crossed. And I could tell by the way the doctors were acting that they felt there was something wrong with your brain. But I didn't believe that because of the way that you were looking at me. You were really transfixed on my face, which I didn't feel like you had a brain anomaly. So I kind of knew something wasn't right from the very beginning. I just didn't know what it was, and it took a very long time, as you know, to figure out exactly what was the deal with that. So.
And my second question is, how do you manage life not only with me, but with my two brothers who also have the same condition, but in different forms?
This is kind of a difficult question because as a person growing up in your life, I had dreams like everyone else. I wanted to become a teacher. I went to college to become one. I got married. I wanted to have, a typical regular life. It's not really what happened. My first son was very sick. I lost his twin, and then my Jenna came along, and she was very sick, and then my son Josh came along, and he was very sick. And so I really didn't have an opportunity to become the person I wanted to be. I became the person I had to be. So how I cope is that I try to strive to give the children the best possible life. And not to sound like a martyr, but I'm not really concerned about my goals or things that I aspire to be. I'm more concerned about them and getting them everything they need, happiness and otherwise, because that's really all I want from them. I want them to have some kind of quality of life and to be happy. It is a lot on me. I'm never off. I'm always on. I work a full-time job to make sure that they get what they need, and then I'm home taking care of them as well. My oldest one has a lot of issues with his stomach and requires a specialized diet. Peach, with her walking and needing a lot of help with just the regular daily functions. And then my youngest one, who has a lot of issues with his stomach and whatnot. My brain's never really off, which is a problem because I never get to relax and really get to take care of myself. So it's not the easiest charge, but it's the one I have.
And finally, and in my opinion, the most importantly, what message can you share with others who are dealing with tough situations?
Well, sometimes in life you get thrown things that you didn't expect. You have to believe that it was the way it was meant to be, because if you try to fight it or you try to ask why or you try to question, you're really not going to get any answers. So the best thing to do is to accept what your challenge is and to quote unquote pull up your bootstraps and try to find the best possible solutions. One of the really huge benefits is if you have a supportive family that can help you. That is really necessary. But in my case, I don't have that. I'm really on my own island. People don't understand what's going on truly with me and the kids, because they just have their own absorbed lives. So support people, pay it forward to people. If you see someone who needs you, please step in and try to offer them support. I tried to do that in the midst of my own issue. I try to help other people, and people have reached out to help me. So it's really important that you stay strong, stay focused, and understand that this is not anything that you did. It's just the way that the cards were dealt, and it's up to you to do the best you possibly can.
And for my audience who would like to know more about my mom, she is in the process of writing a caregiver's book to better put into words her experience from her childhood having this disease, but in her own way, through getting married and having children and up to the present day. And what do you think personally is the reason why you are writing it?
I feel like I've been primed for this job. I always knew as a child that something was going to be different with me. I've always felt different around typical people. I was always very driven to find solutions to problems. When I went to college, I didn't graduate with 2 degrees. I graduated with 4 because I was very driven, and I was very I didn't waste time. Well, I believe that all of that time was to prepare me for this. So I kind of always felt something was going to be different in my life, and it is different. I am a different person. I don't have the same type of life as other women. I don't have a carefree life. I don't have a life of fingernails and whatnot. And I'm not trying to be trite of other women. I just know that I'm different. My life has always been 911. It's always been, have to fight for this now. I have to find in myself more energy. I have to find in myself to be stronger, to fight more, to try to find more solutions. I feel like the Caregiver's book is a summary of all of that. Many people ask me, Antoinette, how'd you do this? How did you do this and still accomplish, your master's degree and still work and still have a life? How did you do this? I don't think I could. And I feel like the Caregiver's book is not only to express what I've done personally and emotionally, but also to give people who are in the same throes of this some hope that they're not alone, that there's definitely more people out there than that are struggling with caregiving of an adult, of a child, of a spouse or whatnot.
Thank you, and your answers were very well thought out, very well given, and I love you each and every day. Please tune in for another podcast next week where I get to interview my stepdad, Mark, who really is the reason for my positivity, who really brought the idea of the power of positivity into my life. Thank you for watching, and have another positive week powered by Peach.